Scientists recently revived a species that went extinct 11,500 years ago. They brought back the woolly mammoth. Okay, not exactly, but here's what they did. They took cells from a living elephant, reprogrammed them to become stem cells, then inserted bits of woolly mammoth DNA into those cells. And because elephants and mammoths are closely related, those modified cells developed into an embryo that was a hybrid of the two species. They implanted that embryo into a surrogate elephant, but it didn't grow. The elephant didn't get pregnant. So the experiment didn't work, but it was a proof of concept. If scientists can make a mammoth-elephant hybrid, then it should be possible to make other extinct animals come back to life. It sounds like science fiction, but scientists say de-extinction is just a matter of time. So in this episode, we're going to find out how close we are to bringing back dinosaurs. Woolly mammoths went extinct around the end of the last ice age. And since then, humans have been pretty good at killing off species. Between 1600 and 1800, for example, humans caused the extinction of about 75 large animal species. And today, we're still causing somewhere between 200 and 500 species to go extinct every year. But now scientists are giving those species a fighting chance using a combination of CRISPR, ancient DNA, and cloning. Cloning is kind of old-school genetic engineering. Dolly the sheep was cloned in 1996. And you probably know that dinosaurs are really popular at theme parks. But cloning isn't the same as de-extinction. To truly bring a species back from the dead, you need to reintroduce genetic diversity. And that's where ancient DNA comes in. In 2021, scientists used this technique to bring back an ancient strain of heliconius butterflies that hadn't been seen in 100 years. They found preserved specimens of the butterflies in a museum, extracted their DNA, and identified which genes were responsible for their distinctive blue color. Then, they used CRISPR to edit the DNA of a related species of butterfly, turning off the gene for brown coloration and turning on the gene for blue. The result was a butterfly that looked just like the ones from 100 years before. But butterflies are easy. What about bigger animals? Well, scientists have made some progress there too. In 2019, researchers at the University of California, San Diego published a plan for bringing back the passenger pigeon, which went extinct in 1914. There are two main challenges to undertaking this kind of genetic resurrection. The first is finding intact DNA from the extinct animal. Passenger pigeons were hunted to extinction, so there aren't any preserved samples from them. But the good news is that DNA can survive in museum specimens. The bad news is that after 100 years, most of the DNA will have degraded. So the UCSD team will have to use advanced sequencing techniques to fill in the gaps. The second challenge is actually getting the animal to develop. Chickens, for example, won't let you stick a duck embryo inside them, even if you remove the duck embryo early enough to give it room to grow. But there is one animal that will let you do this: the elephant. Elephants will carry a woolly mammoth embryo to term. So it might be possible to clone mammoths by transferring their DNA into elephant stem cells and then implanting the embryos into elephant surrogates. So de-extinction is coming, but should we stop it? Some people think we should not mess with the balance of nature, and others worry that it will be too expensive. But most scientists agree that if we don't do it, someone else will. And there's a lot of money to be made in the field of de-extinction. The CEO of Colossal, a company working to bring back woolly mammoths, thinks the technology could be used to fight climate change. Mammoth steppe is a grassland ecosystem that covered much of Siberia and northern Mongolia during the Ice Age. But when the woolly mammoth went extinct, the ecosystem collapsed and was replaced by forests. If Colossal can bring back woolly mammoths, then maybe they can bring back mammoth steppe and all the carbon-storing grasslands that go with it. Woolly mammoths could also help fight another crisis, the global sperm crisis. Human sperm counts have been declining over the past few decades, and reversing that trend is proving difficult. But if we can clone woolly mammoths, then we may be able to harvest their stem cells and turn them into sperm. That is, if we can figure out how to separate the cells. Woolly mammoths are big, tusky beasts, and if we want to save humanity, we may need to bring them back. Extinction was once the end. Today, it may be just the beginning.